into the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Bananas in pajamas are coming down the stairs. Bananas in pajamas are coming down in pairs. Look at JB.
Ooh, they're coming down in pairs. I thought it was chasing teddy bears.
This was JB's choice of music.
Been a while since I've heard the song, folks. But seriously, look it up. Bananas in Pajamas. Classic.
Classic show, according to JB.
Yeah, it is.
Zimmerman.
I stand by Bananas in Pajamas.
Was not my top choice as a child.
Again, you did not click the wrong podcast. This is the Limitless AFTERBUZZ TV after show. We're doing episode 13. Stop Me Before I Hug Again. And probably stop the bananas from coming down the stairs in pajamas again. I'm your host, JB. You can find me at Hey John Blake on social media everywhere. Amanda, how are you?
I'm back. I've been back for 2 weeks, but you weren't here last time. You're never going to get all three of us together ever again.
We're missing Frank this week. He's out sick, unfortunately. But we wish him a speedy recovery.
Yes, please. Please come back. And you can find me at AmandaFTA31. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Nice.
Still using Facebook.
Good stuff. Keep it alive.
I'm going to be like 80 and still be like, I'm on the Facebook.
I think Facebook is really, you're carrying it on your back.
Basically. Actually, no, Mark Zuckerberg emails me every day. He's like, thank you for keeping it alive.
Seriously, it's all you. It's all you. Actually, it's not. I don't know, like, what is that a thing? Is, like, not having Facebook cool with the kids?
Oh, yeah. My younger cousins, I have, like, 14, 15, 16-year-old cousins, and they're like, I keep asking them, I'm like, are you on Facebook? Do you want to be on Facebook? And they're like, nah, it's not cool anymore. It's all about Instagram and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Twitter.
Interesting. Well,
it's very interesting.
I mean, believe me, we could talk for days about that.
Social media.
Let's talk about the show. We start off with a very gruesome murder of a girl. She's, stabbed, choked, blood everywhere. Very with the times with this whole new, like, murder crime trend I feel like we're getting into in TV. Obviously we have the Jinx, we have Making a Murderer, O.J. Simpson's coming out soon. Things are getting dark. We're starting 2016 on a little bit of a different note.
I think people are really
not
interested
so
in that
bananas
right
in pajamas.
Not so bananas in pajamas, but keep it to Brian, or trust Brian to make it lighthearted and fun.
Again, like you, he's carrying that on his back. He's bringing the childish humor sort of with it. Mm-hmm. How'd you feel about that throughout the episode? Kind of child washed. I don't know if that's a word or a phrase.
I loved it because I will always love Brian's charm in the way that he kind of has a lighthearted way about doing everything. I think that's what keeps the show interesting for me anyway. But it was interesting to see in that first scene when he's looking at the bed to see how devastated he was and almost shocked. Because if you think about it, he's never really seen stuff like this before. He's all new to this type of FBI stuff, and so I think seeing someone on the bed like that with blood and just so, like, obviously you can see what had happened to her, that first moment was so interesting for me because he was like, what is going on? And that's what made him go into his subconscious.
Right. I mean, he was very out of his element, which makes sense because he's not trained for this. I mean,
at all.
He's so smart. Oftentimes, even I forget that he's just like a normal person that, is taking a super smart pill so he can figure out, like, the clues and kind of solve the cases, but he's not conditioned even remotely for like seeing dead people.
And I feel like as an audience member, we forget things like that because you're like, oh, when you watch these type of shows, you're like, that'd be so awesome to be part of the FBI. That'd be so great. I'd love that job. But you don't think about how it affects you in a negative way. I mean, just seeing that type of stuff. I mean, Rebecca and Boyle seem pretty okay, but they've been doing it for years.
Absolutely.
It reminds me that I do not want to be an FBI agent.
Yeah.
As much as I think
No,
I
I mean,
do.
yeah, as much as, again, yeah, it is such a helpful thing for society, it is so hard on, your inner psyche. That's why there is a lot of psychiatry that goes on behind the scenes.
Yep.
They definitely need, help mentally to deal with all that. It's such a big burden.
That was just a great moment, I thought.
Yeah, no, I thank you for bringing that up, because, a lot of times TV shows and stuff can glamorize those kind of jobs, like saving the world, like one bad guy at a time. But that's really intense. Like, if you do have to use your weapon, and even if it is to save someone's life, you still have to carry that on. Like, if you do hurt or kill someone, like, you have to live with that, which is super tough.
And you have to see, people dead on a bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't even like looking at on TV, so how would I be able to handle it in real life? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and even more so, it's sort of, that's their day job. Like, it's not just, obviously that's a bad day. There's good and bad, but I think that having to deal with that all the time is what really makes it tough. Even if you do develop a very hard skin, that's sort of a constant thing that you can never get out of while doing that profession. So again, a tribute to everybody that does do that. Thank you. I don't think I could handle it. It takes an enormous amount of strength, physically and mentally, to take that, I think.
So let's talk about the subconscious now, because that's way more fun than what we just went down a dark path.
No, so I mean, I just thought it was such a creative way that they handled that for the character Brian, that made sense. They definitely took it to an extreme with the psychedelic color book colors. Obviously the dinosaur triceratops that
it was perfect,
that he is befriending.
That was his subconscious. And please don't tell me they didn't get inspiration from Inside Out, because it reminded me so much of the Disney Pixar movie Inside Out.
They definitely take a lot of cues from movies and pop culture, which I think is good because it's done in a good way.
Of course.
Obviously there's some massive Barney reference. I can stop thinking about that, but
when the bed was just a little bit higher than he was, it was great. It was great.
But yeah, I mean, they kind of use that tool to tell the story throughout. It got a little complicated for me. I mean, I appreciate them sticking with it.
Right.
But it did, I mean, just because there's so many, cuddling and tickling and unicorns and candy and
at first, and I will fully admit this, and please let us know if you guys believe this like I did or if I'm just crazy, but when they first were talking about the tickling, I thought that was maybe his serial killer, like, weird fetish that he had. Just the tickling part.
Right.
Once they got into the hugging and I understood what was going on, but in the very beginning, when he was like, and then they went and found the bones to his fingers, I was kind of like, wait a second, that's off. But right before that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That must be like his thing. He tickles people. Hey, now that I'm saying it sounds really stupid, but this show gets me. They make me believe things I never thought I'd believe. So, I thought it was great how they did that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess maybe it's just me that I'm desensitized watching all these, like, murder shows on the side that I come to this and I'm like, wait, what actually happened? Did he kill her? Did he stab her? What? But, I guess if you watched it more, I bet they do sort of stay consistent because they use the same keywords.
Yeah.
So it was nice that they just sort of changed it in Brian's mind.
Right.
And I like how they kind of play that perspective all the time of we are in Brian's mind on NCT throughout, which is very
And they
cool.
even put a subtitle that said "Scary words equal fun words." So I really should have gotten it.
Yes, there was. I mean, they put the text up on the screen.
They literally put it right in front of my face.
Yeah, another thing that was sort of behind, like on the screen, but a little bit hidden, are one of our fans at Vern's Views. I want to shout out to you because you did notice this as well. They had in the first bedroom scene with the dinosaur, he put up a photo of Rebecca, like above the bedroom, which was very interesting. Not just because obviously she's a friend. I think that foreshadows maybe that she would be more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, we always talk about them what is it, Team Brecca?
Yeah, how we want them to be together. But I wrote in my notes that this was the first episode that I kind of was getting a brother-sister vibe from them, especially on the road trip, when they were packing. It just kind of, and like when they were first in the conference room, when Mr. David, is it Engler?
Right, yeah.
When he came in...
Angleton?
When he came in and he
Englander.
Thank you.
Englander,
And he was talking and Brian was on his phone. She kind of looked at him, just kind of like I would to my younger brother if he was doing something kind of childish.
Right.
Just kind of like, come on. So I don't know. As much as I want them to end up together, today I was getting a vibe of like little brother, little like sister.
Fair enough. I mean, again, I'm not in a rush for that to happen. I like them both, so it's like I wouldn't be like quit watching the show if they got together, but I like them separately, and I think it would really change the dynamic of the show if it was like a romantic relationship thing too.
They might wait until the very end of the show.
We could do that.
We'll hear the show gets canceled, and then they'll get together.
Yeah, just always use it as a plan B, writers. But never the plan A.
Exactly.
But yeah, because I want new characters. So last week we got, obviously Bradley Cooper, always welcome. But Piper. Yeah. I'm a big fan of her. I think...
You and Frank, both.
She's very attractive.
You loved her.
I am.
And Brian seems to have a thing for those blondes with the shorter hair.
He's a smart man. She was great. Let's talk about the brother and sister Bro-Ecca, I guess.
Bro-Ecca.
Yeah, they go to Quantico. He convinces Nas that it's a good idea that they can kind of take a little road trip to the Behavioral Analysis Center, which is a mouthful. I sort of wonder what was in there. I mean, he filled the cases with kittens and lollipops, but
it must be guns and DNA. I don't know about DNA. Maybe the blood stain. I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
I mean, it was probably pretty gruesome. My guess it was like maybe human body parts or something, like anatomy type stuff.
Great.
Very sciencey, but some people are into that kind of thing.
Great.
Yeah, totally.
You wish you would have seen that over the lollipops?
I'm just curious. I wish it maybe did like a flash of what it was, then they changed into cute kittens playing with toys. But yeah.
But that really wasn't the point of the story.
True. No, that's true.
It was, I don't know. I like how they do different themes every week and there's different wacky things going on.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the childish theme, I do like how they kind of kept that going, even sort of on the sidelines with his presentation.
Right.
Later on, he had literally child elementary school poster board presentations with
oh my God,
construction paper cutouts.
It made me so nostalgic.
Yeah.
I used to love those
things. I wonder
things.
if they even they probably don't. Even not funny that they made Nas's character say Brian, we have PowerPoint. What are you doing?
Yeah, kids probably use PowerPoint now.
Yeah. No,
That's crazy.
It is an intuitive program. It seems sort of counteractive that they would do that. They would not do that.
Yeah. But the thing is, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, that used to take me so much time to do, but when he's on NZT, it probably takes 3 minutes.
Right.
To make one of those cardboard things.
Well, yeah, I mean, he could probably cut a perfect shape with his eyes.
Which I could never do.
Yeah, oh God.
It was a mess.
I'm not a paper mache is not my bag.
My mom always taught me, she was like, if you just keep cutting in weird angles, people will think you're creative, and that will help you in life.
I can make a paper snowflake like a pro. I will say that. I will say that. But yeah, again, sort of as they're going on the road trip, Rebecca is asking about Imora. Mm-hmm. We just came off of the episode, involving a lot of him, so she is really kind of taking on a side project, really curious about what's going on. She's
smart.
Yeah, she's super smart. She's almost too smart for her own good, but
it's interesting seeing how he's on NZT and he's ridiculously smart when he's on NZT, but then she really keeps up with him.
Yeah, that's just a huge...
And it's always her when he's like, and then it was, and she'll come up with the answer. She's very smart.
Yeah, she is whip smart. I mean, she is just below Brian, which again
Yeah.
I think is cool to legitimize that job. Like you should be a really smart person to be dealing with that kind of
Right, of
thing.
course.
Like I would, if heaven forbid ever something happened where I would need an FBI like, team, I would want Rebecca on that team.
Of course you would.
Why not?
Not also because she's hot.
I mean, that would help, obviously. It's a notable bonus.
So your team would be Piper, Rebecca, and maybe his first girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, we can throw if Brian's on NZT, he can join the team.
Yeah.
I mean, Doyle's pretty good too. He's got like the army background if things go down.
He's my favorite. I love him.
But no, I would heavily try to recruit the Limitless team, 100%.
Okay, good to know. Just in case.
They are good at their jobs. I'm just saying.
They are good at their jobs.
This guy.
But they're in New York, we're in LA. So
True.
you'd have to fly them out. Be a huge deal.
Road trip again. Road trip 2.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so they finally land at their road trip. They go through the cases, solve some stuff. He gets a book as a gift from Englander. Starts to give that a read on the way back, and instantly sort of finds some questions. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because to get published is no easy task. Like,
I'm sure.
Also to go through all of the whatever appeal process that the one prisoner did. Hannon, I think was his name. He must have gone through a lot. I mean, he was basically brainwashed to believe that he did commit this crime,
right?
Even though he wasn't physically able to do that, which is crazy. I mean, I wish it was so interesting how they sort of created real life Inception with science. I would love to know more about that. I mean,
that's when it started going over my head, and I felt like I was watching Inception again, the movie, which I absolutely love that movie, but it was there were so many scientific words.
Yeah.
It was very
got complex.
It got a little complex.
Pretty quickly.
It got a little over my head.
I mean,
I appreciate it and it's cool, but when he was doing the thing with the mouse and he had the light stick and everything, I was like,
the light. It was kind of a perfect dynamic of being like so far intellectual, but also like bringing it back to like those toys that used to play at like Sharper Image.
Yeah.
With that light.
And that's what I love about Brian is he's, when he's on NCT, he's so smart, yet he keeps his Brian charisma always. It was even when he was in his apartment and he was getting ready. I mean, in the morning, he makes himself like 2 eggs. Wouldn't you think if I were on NCT, I'd be like, I guess he's not on NCT in the morning, but I'd be like, listen, I'm going to make myself a gourmet meal because I know how. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And
But I guess he's not on it in the morning, but it's just interesting that he keeps it simple,
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, he is such a down-to-earth, like, humble guy at heart, which is why, that balance really does work. I mean, it's
perfect.
He just wants to smoke weed all day. Like, pretty humble. Like,
And that brings up my next question about this that I had written down. He is going over all these cases, going through so many files day to day. It's probably interesting to figure this stuff out, but do we think he's ever going to get bored or tired of it? Or have some type of, like, realization that, it's just going to be day in and day out. It's never going to go away. You're always going to have another case to solve. You're always going to be looking through thousands of files. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems monotonous. That job, it's sort of like being a mailman. It never ends.
Yeah.
Like, it's a constant, flux of
And when you start going,
day.
I'm on NCT, I can do whatever I want. Let's do something awesome. Instead of, this is cool, but when do you say, okay, I'm looking through a million files a day and, like, figuring out cases?
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it could happen. It definitely could. I feel like because, he was an artist with his music, he is sort of someone that wants to be good at something. Right. Great. He wants to be great at something. Right. And since he is great at helping people and he can use that power, he is liking it. I mean, I think it's giving him a lot of reasons to stay.
Okay. I'm just putting it out there.
Totally. Would you get bored if you were doing that?
I think I would get bored just of looking at a zillion files all the time.
Right.
Like, does NZT make that joyful? Do you know, or does it make it interesting or so compelling that you want to keep doing it? Or is it still a job? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I do. That's a very good question.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
very good question.
Even if I was super, super smart and I was a doctor and, you know, I don't know. But the doctor, you're helping people on a day-to-day basis and you're, you know, but if you're doing research or something like that, I mean, I guess some people just love that.
Right.
But is Brian the guy that loves that? You know what I mean?
Well, I think NZT
He's not really
helps.
an intellectual guy. The drug makes him intellectual.
It does, but I mean, I think innately Brian likes that too. It's like it's like, you know, he's like a puzzle person.
Yeah.
Even if it was maybe before NZT, it's like a 4-piece puzzle is his game.
Right.
But, but you know, I think he gets a lot of satisfaction from solving things. And my view of NZT is it's not so much enjoying the process, but sort of, you know, that your mind works so quickly. It's like just your normal, you just do it.
You just do it.
Yeah. It's not like, maybe it's just not hard because you can sort of always see answers. You can always see the way to go.
Angles. Okay.
But I don't know.
I'm not that passionate with my statement. I just had to bring it up.
Fair enough. Totally.
It was
it's
bugging
interesting.
me.
It's interesting. I mean, there's so much at the core of this show, which is cool. I mean, it is a procedural. It's also, a comedy, I would say. But it's such an interesting concept.
Yeah. That
there's like always stuff that like continues to fascinate me. Like, how does he react to doing office work all the time? Like,
yeah.
You know, would he get physically tired from sifting through an entire library of papers? Like, that would take, a lot of effort to flip through that many pages.
But you're right. If it doesn't take effort and it's really just, he just does it. Okay.
Yeah, crazy.
Okay, we can move on. Had to put it out there.
Totally. No, good points. Moving on, back to Eddie Moore, because, I think once he figures out all the polygraph stuff, he's still kind of hung up on this prisoner guy until he figures out this whole brain manipulation. Mm-hmm. Then we go through the classic procedural stuff. Mm-hmm. It's not the doctor. We'll question him. Kind of throw out the billionaire guy and the billionaire's son as like,
that came up pretty quickly. And then they kind of resolved it pretty quickly.
Right. Yeah.
But
I mean, you need some throwaway details, because again, Mora is what I think, and hopefully I speak for Frank with saying that that's the most interesting big storyline stuff that comes up. Mm-hmm. Sands gives a call to Brian, and he says like, "Hey, we're gonna have to swap this evidence. Rebecca's getting too close." I mean, that's sort of why they allow Brian to be in the FBI in the first place, is to make sure that type of stuff can be avoided. Mm-hmm. So they give him the jacket, NZT DNA free, but Sands clearly not in NZT because he misses a major detail. I mean, it's like a fingernail scratch on one of the buttons, but enough for Rebecca to notice.
Of course. And his subconscious thinks that he wanted her to notice.
Yes.
And I do too.
I think so too. I think that it's sort of an organic way that Brian can, kind of bridge the gap between the inevitable. I mean, we're going down a road where it's like literally going to be Eddie, Mora, or Rebecca. Like, I mean, they are set up on opposite sides, have been from the get-go. It's just a matter of time before, either of them wants to pursue sort of a conflict.
And I think he wants her to figure it out, but he wants her to figure it out in a way that it seems as though he did everything humanly possible to make sure she didn't figure it out. Because technically, Eddie Moore could kind of blame Sands for this.
Yeah, no, it would definitely
Brian didn't
come
do
down
anything
on
wrong.
Sands.
Yeah.
Brian did exactly as he was told.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that he noticed the button thing was not on him. I wouldn't blame Brian for not, because he was planting evidence in place like he was not allowed to be. Time is limited. It's not his job to inspect every piece of evidence, especially when it's something he obviously does not want to do, like breaking the law.
Well, and one thing I noticed, and I have to point this out, when the guy went in to go to swipe his card to go in to look for the evidence, and then he had to try to get out, and he was locked in, and he tried to swipe out.
Right.
Whoever has to swipe out of a locked room like that, you don't have to do that, because in case there are malfunctions, you can get out.
Yeah.
True. I don't know why I notice these things, but this is the type of stuff I notice.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would he have to swipe to get out of the room that he's already in? But I guess it makes for a good story.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it allowed him to get stuck, so it was out of necessity.
Right.
I mean, as long as we're poking plot holes, I will have to say, I was a little surprised that Brian just had the keys to, the entire evidence room and locked door. I don't know how he got those.
But with NCT, I guess you could just say he's on NCT.
Yeah,
He can just figure anything out.
They mentioned picking locks. I'm surprised that they didn't do like a quick. I mean, it would have taken more screen time, obviously, but they could have him quickly pick the locks for everything.
Yeah, and I think this
could
episode
have set off some alarms, but whatever. I mean, I would have appreciated that more than just let me just use my keys to the room.
You want a little more action.
That's off limits for me.
You want a little more action.
Little bit more crossing the T's and dotting the I's.
But you could tell that they, from thinking about it from a logistics standpoint, you could tell that they were buying for time. They needed more time.
Well, yeah, I mean,
on
again,
this episode.
it's not supposed to be.
They were cramming a lot into this one.
It's not meant to be like a perfectly accurate show, so I'm fine with it. But still, would have preferred a little picklocking action. Just me. CBS.
Well, CBS.
Hear that?
Please note that JB wants more action.
Exactly, more accuracy. When you can use his skills in kind of a meaningful way, I think we should try to do so. I mean, for the most part, they definitely do, and that's why I like this show, because it's constantly creative. Like this whole episode was like nothing we've really ever seen before, so that was pretty cool.
They must be having so much fun. That's what I keep thinking. Just everyone who works on the show.
Yeah. No, I mean it seems like a very fun show. The actors definitely have fun, and that's why we've mentioned this a bunch of times. It's fun to watch them because they are having fun. I do have a question for you though. We talked about how Brian kind of sabotaged the evidence. Would you do that? I mean, being in Brian's place, he's obviously kind of between a rock and a hard place with Eddie Moore on one side and Rebecca on the other. Would you let that go? Would you play it safe and spend an extra 2 seconds, as they said, to kind of make that button correct?
No, I really honestly think that his subconscious is right, and he is trying to have Rebecca figure out what is going on without him getting in trouble.
Right.
Because he knows that if he does anything to let her know what's going on, he's screwed. So he basically is trying, his subconscious is trying to make him have her figured out in a way that he will not get in trouble or he will not get blamed. That's what he's trying to make happen. And I think that's what I would want to happen for me too. Because he's trying to get, and it's so interesting at the end when he says, that he's protecting his family, he's protecting Rebecca. I mean, he really wants to get out of this situation.
Right.
But
I mean, it's not a good situation to be
There's
in
no way
at all.
out directly. It's got to be some weird, path.
Yeah.
Which he's going to figure out.
Shades of gray, for sure. But no, I absolutely agree with you. I
Definitely.
think
But yes, I would do it. Yes.
Rebecca has shown no reason to, distrust her at all. She's always been, like, probably the most just character that we've seen. And Eddie Moore, hasn't been, really. Like, he's kind of sketchy.
Well, yeah.
He's shrouded in mystery. Kind of sketchy.
I mean, especially after our last episode.
Yeah.
Who can we trust? I don't know.
I'm Team Piper, I think, now. I've defected.
Of course you are.
Well.
Of course you are.
She's innocent.
I mean, I think she's going to come back. I think she's going to come back.
I hope she does. I really hope she does, Amanda.
I know. You and Frank both. What about my
Well, yeah. Who would you like to come back?
Can Rebecca have it? I mean, Casey was fine, but he's pretty dead, so.
Yep. I think he's...
I think Rebecca should have a new love interest.
Ooh, interesting.
A nice guy. I mean, I guess I have Boyle. He's an attractive person.
He's very fit. I mean, he's like a hero.
That's true. He's a hero.
But
yeah,
I mean, he
definitely
killed Casey, so,
he's pretty dead.
There's that. Pretty
dead. I mean, it's TV. He can always come back.
As much as, being shot in the eyeball will kill you, I guess. But yeah, let's make some predictions.
Let's do it.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Yeah, so, I mean, what do you think is going to happen in this, as we enter sort of the next half of the first season?
I think Rebecca's going to keep getting closer and closer. I think there's going to be some type of weird path to get her there. It's not going to be very straightforward. It's going to be very convoluted. And hopefully it's going to keep Brian in the clear. We hope. I think definitely Brian's family is going to come back into it at some point, and we're going to see more of that dynamic. I don't know if I think him and Rebecca are going to get together by the end of the season. I think I might have predicted that a few weeks ago, but I think they're kind of straying away from that. It might happen by the end of the show, but definitely I don't think the end of the season anymore. And yeah, I think we're also going to start seeing some more moral issues with Brian and like the different things that he's doing and how he feels about like all the sketchy things he has to do. And I think there's really going to be some pivotal moment where he has to decide like morally what to do. Right. For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely see Rebecca staying on Eddie Mora's track.
For sure.
I think she's gonna raise some questions about this Button situation, and I think Brian's gonna be forced to kind of cover it somehow. Maybe he will still be, somewhat sloppy, and not in a way that gets him in trouble, but in a smart way that sort of allows the truth to come, to Rebecca's realization.
Yep.
And yeah, because they work together, they've got a really good dynamic. I would say the same, that they're not going to get into a romantic relationship, at least by the end of the season, because I hope that it focuses sort of on the work on the FBI stuff that they do.
Yep.
Hopefully Brian's family comes back, and hopefully Brian gets involved romantically with Piper. I would support that, because then we can get more Piper in the mix. And
I feel like Frank is probably live tweeting right now from his sickbed, like, Frank,
I think everybody would win, really, if we brought Piper back.
Well, let us know what you think. Everybody tweet, let us know.
Yeah.
Who wants Piper back?
I'm Team Piper.
I'm Team Brecca.
Rebecca. I'm Brecca.
Wait, am I crazy though? Whatever happened to Naz's daughter?
Naz's daughter has been completely out. I mean, it'd be kind of weird.
Gone.
Yeah, she's gone. I mean,
what are you gonna
maybe
do?
It doesn't have to be forever. Maybe there's gonna be a love triangle, Piper and Naz's daughter thing with Brian. At this point, I think that she's sort of out of the picture completely, because it's like,
I agree.
She doesn't really have a reason. Plus, it's just more awkwardness within the characters that already exist.
Right. Agreed.
So again, new people or Piper, whatever,
You are just all about the new ladies on the show.
Well, no, it's cool because we were talking
about
it's not just because she's blonde and very attractive. I mean, it's partially that, but it's also because she's another like equal adversary. We've been talking a lot. Obviously, we're hoping for Robert De Niro to kind of make an appearance, but that's kind of a tall ask. I want someone that's sort of that equal mind. Something that causes Eddie Mora to have problems. Something that can't be easily solved by Brian. I mean, he handles these. Right. He was reading the book. He didn't even get like halfway through, and he already figured out that it was like completely wrong.
Right.
Like in the car, he was reading that.
Right. So you want something that's bigger than that.
Yeah, I love sort of the bigger story elements that are like so impossibly large that it takes, multiple minds to figure it out.
And see, I'm all about the morality. I like when he has like real tests of his morality. Because I've seen so many times where he looks like he's about to like really do something evil, and then he's never done it. And Frank and I talked about this last week, that that's why we like him. And it's good to see that type of character on TV, because right now with TV everything's so dark and whatever. But I don't know. I love that aspect.
Nice. Well, it's very dynamic. It's definitely got the thrills.
Oh, and before we go, he got his headquarters.
He did.
Did we not talk about that?
He did.
Whoa. With the lights and everything.
Congrats.
So congrats, Brian, to your headquarters.
He deserved it. It's a little Christmas present.
I loved it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, yeah, we will see more of Brian and his headquarters next week. Till then, where can they find you?
Everyone find me at AmandaFTA31.
Nice. And you can find me at Hey John Blake. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.